Welcome, everybody. We are back, and Rajiv ji is with us. He's our U.S. immigration lawyer. We try to do this every Saturday, 9 a.m. New York time and 6 a.m. California time. Yes, I said 6 a.m. But cool, Rajiv ji. Any new? I mean, we it's been like almost 2 weeks. So any new stuff? I think I saw a couple of things from you, but you I mean, it's probably old for you, but anything new from your perspective?
Well, you looked at the EB1A dates, right? They moved
Yeah,
quite a bit,
yeah,
and
yeah.
from 13 years to 4 years. That was the only thing that was major. Other than that, the Canada thing is going on. Uh, Canada.
What's going on with the Canada?
So I had a call from an Indian journalist day before yesterday, and she said, "What did I think of Canada India Rao?" And my first instinct was to say, I'm just a simple man. What do I know what these guys are doing? But I'll tell you this. She asked me, would it affect immigration to Canada? And I said, Canada doesn't have much of a choice because in, I forget the year, but in a few years, they will reach zero population growth. They don't believe in making babies. Okay, so now what will happen is when you don't have population growth, then all
Hmm.
those people who are retiring, there's like
Hmm.
several million of them retiring over a few years. Who is going to support their healthcare and their benefits and all that? So we need younger people on whose shoulder the older generations can stand. So they need immigration, and they
Yeah.
can't do without it. And India is a very healthy source of immigration, other than this current gangsterism and violence that is cropping up in Canada now. Most people, even Indians in Canada, are very law-abiding people. You can imagine, Yudi. I was in Ottawa. I went to the University of Ottawa.
Hmm.
I was there over a year,
Hmm.
and I never paid for a cab. Why? Because all these Punjabi guys are brothers, Hindu, Sikh, doesn't matter. Even
Yeah.
Pakistani. The moment they found
Yeah.
out I was a student, they would not take money. And it was very embarrassing. So I actually tried to cut down on my cab as much as possible.
Hmm.
I said, no, you just study. You
Hmm.
do well in school, and that we'll be happy with that. They were very sweet people. So, but
Hmm.
I lived through the 1984 India time, Punjab time, and all of a sudden, two communities that were always a part of each other became so separated. It was crazy. And
Yeah.
um, I never thought of somebody as being Sikh or Hindu, or for that matter, even Muslim or Christian. We have our differences, but whom you worship and how you worship is your business, not mine.
Right.
Goodness is
Yeah.
goodness. It doesn't matter which source it comes from,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
So
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 right
and
now,
the idea is like they right. Yeah. Go ahead.
but hold on, listen to this whole story. So what happened was, from what I have gathered, I don't have any special sources. I have a couple of people who claim to have special sources. But putting all of this together, what happened was the when Nijjar got killed, who was one of the Sikh terrorists, he got the reason we call him a terrorist is because he has several active cases for murder, mayhem, bomb blasts, all sorts of things against him. And we have been asking Canada for the last, I don't know, 25 years to cooperate with us so that we can work out what's going on. And not everybody is. Even if now, if you look at these rallies, you'll see maybe 50 people, maybe 100 people. In Canada, maybe you'll see 200 people. But the presence of Indians is a lot bigger than that. So just to
Hmm.
think that everybody is a terrorist is not a good idea. Well,
Hmm.
it is possible that we have our unconscious biases. We may like certain things, or maybe
Hmm.
we like our community, but that doesn't mean we are terrorists. Okay, not all of us. So Trudeau went to India, and again, this is I have no personal source. I have somebody who says he brought up this, and President Modi, Prime Minister Modi, made him feel like a schoolboy. He was
Hmm.
just so abrupt, and you know I don't know. That's what I hear. So
Hmm.
uh, Prime Minister Trudeau, I'm sure, didn't like that. And I am also, what I also heard was that this story about India being involved with the assassination is going to come out.
Hmm.
It was about to come out in the newspaper. So Trudeau had to step in and reveal that story before it was scooped. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, the parliament uh, in Canada, the opposite uh, party, the leader of the opposition as well as the leader of the Conservative Party, they were both very surprised. They said, "Well, you said that you can't reveal this information because it is classified. We both have clearances. Why don't you talk to us?" And when then the big reveal that he gave before the parliament was basically open source information. You can Google it. So they were like, "This is
Hmm.
nothing." Okay.
Hmm.
And India's then Justin Trudeau said that we have given India all this information already. And Mr. Bagchi, speaking for India, said, "What information? We have received nothing that we can call actionable." Okay.
Hmm.
And then India revealed Nijar's resume. They have a dossier on him, how he trained in Pakistan, how he was trained in weaponry, and how he trained other people, AK-47s, making bombs. There's very specific information on this. So the question is, what does this look like? Personally, I think there is a huge discriminatory aspect of this. As long as
Hmm.
India was silent and meek and humble, people were okay. The moment India starts asserting itself, they say, "Oh, India is complicit in killing people." So wait a minute. What did we Americans? What did we do in Iraq? What did we do in Afghanistan? What did we do with Osama bin Laden? We went into
Hmm.
Pakistan. We killed him. Okay. So
Hmm.
it's okay if we do it. It's not okay if India does it.
Yeah.
If India has done it, why is it not okay? They've been asking for Canada's help since before the bombing, which killed 300 some people. And the
Hmm.
the guy who was responsible for it,
Hmm.
he only did like 1 or 2 years of prison. He was released from prison by Canadians. Now I give you that maybe they didn't have enough evidence, etc. But they should at least, as a matter of good faith, work with a fellow democracy, work with the government. But Justin Trudeau's father refused to, the prime minister at that time, refused to do anything about it. So this, it doesn't look good for Justin Trudeau. And frankly, if there is indeed India's complicity, I am not that worried about it. One thing that
Yeah.
bothers me as a lawyer is that there's no due process of law. If you decide to kill somebody, CIA was carrying out assassinations for decades. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
if you kill somebody, there should be a judicial process, right? There should be at least somebody impartial who's looked at all the evidence and says, okay, this guy is a terrorist. And then we approach the government. But what if the government of that country is actively sheltering this guy instead of saying he is a Canadian citizen? There was a retired officer from Pentagon who said he was no more a plumber than Osama bin Laden was a construction engineer. These guys are,
Hmm.
let's not make any
Hmm.
mistakes about it. So this is where we are. I think it's going to resolve out, and I think Justin Trudeau, who's
And
already
you
been
because of that, they basically stopped, like they put a
immigration.
hold on immigration for Indians.
Well, it's not that it's nothing on the Canadian side, but Indian side says we are not issuing you any visas. And I think it's an excuse. The excuse was that our consulate staff is under threat and we can't really work. Uh,
Hmm.
but I personally think that was basically a kind of a tat before the tit came. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, so you expelled our diplomat, we expelled yours. On top of that, we're not issuing any more visas. And I like the muscle that India is exhibiting. Why should all
Hmm.
nations not be on equal footing?
Yeah. 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 Another one was, I think, I don't know if you saw this, but what do you think about 5 year EAD, the government shut down on?
Yeah, 5 year EAD is not for the employment based cases, as far as I know. If you know something different, Emily, do share with me. But the 5 year is for refugees, and it's not for employment based people, which is very weird. At least I didn't see it in the a little communique that I saw from the USCIS.
Hmm. What about like, was there anything on H4 EADs or no?
Nothing.
No. Okay. All right. We will move on to the next one. S- this is the second question from previous week. Okay. So, can I work in my profession, which I'm currently studying, with my asylum EAD?
Yeah, because the asylum EAD is an open source or open market EAD. You can do anything you want with that. Sure.
Mm. Mm. Some career question.
I Have you heard anything about this? I keep hearing about this. And day before yesterday, I had an email from somebody. Please help in Washington D.C. stuck at the airport. So by the time I got back to them, they said this guy has already been sent back, and
Mm.
they took away everything from him. I'm sure he doesn't mean they took away his clothes. I think
Yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
he must have been carrying something which was problematic. But I really don't know what's going on. I keep hearing these deportations. I have never had a student contact me on this. So
Right.
is this a
Yeah,
tale? Is this
the
more?
two of them reached out to me. So and they are willing to come on one of these Saturdays. So
Yeah,
I told
just
them
speak
that,
to them. I want to know
yeah,
what happened. Okay.
okay.
I would
So
like to know what
so yeah, okay. Is it possible to file EB3 along with EB2 if
happened.
we have all?
Sure. So isn't Bhatik one of my guys? Yeah, he's been in touch with me before. Bhatik, the way it works is when you file the POM, at that stage you decide whether the case will be EB3 or EB2. So when you file the POM. At the I-140 stage, if your POM was filed with EB2, you can actually file two I-140s, one for EB3, one for EB2. I always tell people it's like entering a plane with
Mm.
a first class classification that you can sit in the first class. Then you see UD sitting in business, and you go, "Hey, UD, I want to come hang out with you. I don't want to go to the first class. As long as they have space, it's okay for you to downgrade. But if you
Mm.
show up and you are sitting with UD in business, you can't go to first class unless there is some special circumstance. So in immigration, there is no such special circumstance. So you decide if you file your perm for EB2, you can always do two I-140s, one for EB3, one for EB2.
Mm. I like. I you should start using more analogies like that. I like that
Analogy.
personally.
Okay. Confuse things even more.
Can H1B holder buy a house
I
and rent
think,
it out in?
yeah, I think it's illegal. Because what you're doing is actively doing business. You're buying a house and then renting it out. So I have no legal grounds for it, but just legal common sense says this could be objectionable.
Hmm. Ask. Oh, sorry. Hi. I got laid off. My H1B was done
Change
in
of
change
status.
of status. My I-94 says DS. How many days I have?
First of all, Yudi, I want to note for the record, I have glasses now, so I can actually tell what is written. Previously,
Okay.
I had glasses that were great from 300 feet, but not so good at
Yeah.
12
And
inches.
and also I've had enough coffee today, so I won't mess up.
So yeah, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I want to also note for the record. Last Saturday, Yudi and I were supposed to get together, and he says I'm not well. So I'm thinking COVID. Later on, it turns out he had done too much leg exercise and he couldn't move.
Yeah. So that was, yeah.
That's such an
It
Indian thing
was,
to
but it was not just leg, it was my back which was hurting, and I was like, I should just
do.
sleep.
Man, you're a rookie. I can tell you only this. All right, let's see.
People, yeah.
Got laid off, done by a change of status. Hmm. So, Digvijay, um, I need to know whether you're on OPT and if you have time remaining on your OPT. Okay. So,
Mm.
let's find that out. Why don't you just circle back with us? He can do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I have BSc in physics and working in IT company since 2.5 years. I got selected in H1B second lottery. Will my degree cause an issue in approval of my petition?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be a push, Anubhav, because physics has nothing to do directly, but physics is a highly quantitative discipline. You could argue that's a lot like math, and math is an acceptable alternative to computer science in programming jobs or software engineering jobs. It's going to be challenging. Maybe it will work because if you had 3 years of experience, then you would have been okay.
Hmm. Okay. A one STEM OPT got approved for H1B, but can I apply for tourist visa in Canada and tell them I need to do H1B interview to get a STEM?
Yeah,
Can I do the interview in Dubai or Saudi Arabia?
yeah, you can do an interview in any country you choose as long as that country hasn't closed its consulate to third country national processing. In fact, during the times when we had such huge backlogs, US Department of State, who's responsible to act through its consulates to issue visas, had told us, please apply in third country if you can't do it in your own country. They wanted us to do
Hmm.
it. So you what you do is use your search engine. I don't want to say Google, even though even on the floor of Parliament they were saying Google. That you can Google this. I'm thinking, Google has become such a huge name. Nobody says you can Bing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so so going back to what I was saying was just go to your search engine and type US visa wait times. You'll come to a page where you can enter the name of the city. It'll tell you how much time.
Hmm.
Mexico was 3 days. Canada was 156 days, something like that. And different consulates have different wait times.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how so brand, yeah, like so much brand ingestion has happened in our life that like we forget, like Xerox. People
Yeah.
just say, "Can I get Xerox?" versus
Yeah.
photocopy. So,
Hoover was the big vacuum name in the old days. So people used to
hmm.
say, I have to Hoover the house rather than saying, I have to vacuum clean.
I've never heard that, but
Yeah, because you're
that's
too young, brother.
interesting. Okay.
Young
All
and a
right.
rookie.
Yeah. F1 to H1B status changes on October 1st. I relocated to new state and a company said they have to file amendment before October 1st, but are waiting LC approval. What are my options if not filed by October
So,
1st?
Yogeshji, the way I see it, you were filed with change of status, right? Right.
Yep.
And the amendment is being filed. At the moment the amendment is filed, so October 1st, you should be able to start working in the new location because the
Mm.
amendment has already been filed. I would say portability applies. Although, yeah, because the requirement for H1B portability is that you must be maintaining H1B status. October 1st, you will automatically be maintaining H1B status. So I would argue that for you to take up the new job in the new location is not an issue because you have an amendment pending.
Hmm. Okay. When will F1 visa slots open up for spring 2024? Come on, Rajiv ji,
Nisarg
got
Maharaj.
this.
Nisarg is a very big name in Advait Vedanta and also in Kashmiri Shaivism. Nisarg. So Nisarg
Mm,
Saab, we don't know. I at least don't know. As soon as I find out, I will share with you. You can follow us on social media. Yuri is quite well known. I am in LinkedIn, every social media that you can think of. Some of
yep.
them more than others, but LinkedIn I do very religiously.
Mm. All right. Approved I-40, I-140 on 7th year of H-1B, got laid off. If I don't get a job in 60 days, can I go back to India, interview from there? After offer, will employer be able to file H-1B transfer without lottery?
Yes, they will. Next question. Actually, back up a little bit. Uh, I'm assuming your I-140 will either not be withdrawn or it has been approved for at least 180 days. That's when you become safe to change employers. So if your current employer won't revoke or the I-140 has been approved already for 180 days, what I said works.
And there was a follow-up that if yes, will it be H-1B transfer or new H-1B employment
Yeah,
application
don't
without
worry
lottery?
about that. That you will not be subject to the lottery. That's all you need.
Mm, okay. Emily said it states for adjustment of status for the 5 years EAD.
Oh, it
Um,
does, Emily. I'll take a look at it. Uh, was also asking DOS and dual shutdown with the pending government. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. So, from what I remember, some agencies are funded through the government, and some agencies are fees funded, whatever they charge us. From what I remember, USCIS is funded through our fees. They take very little money from the government. So I expect they will continue to be rolling around. Our Department of Labor, I think, would have a problem because they don't charge fees. So these are my guesses. I will double check. I'll post something on social media.
hmm.
But Emily, thanks
Is
for
it?
sharing that. I thought EAD for adjustment of status was not covered.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Is there any limit on how much passive income could be earned on H1B?
No,
No.
I think I like this guy. I want to be his friend. He's got lots of money.
But
Would it
he's
be
also
equal to what?
wanderer. You
Yeah,
might be
why not?
wondering.
Why not? Because, see, okay, let me give you an example. Qualitatively, what is the difference between me investing $200 in IBM and $200 million in IBM? Passive is passive, right?
Hmm.
And by the way, if you're in the second category, we are your best friends.
Yes.
We love you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah. Sorry, I skipped your question. If it is advisable to come to USA next year in the middle of election, or wait for another year to see if any changes are made in the H1B or OPT.
Are you running in the elections? I mean, what are you worried about? Um,
I think they are worried about like Trump coming back, so like they don't know
so
what.
what?
Yeah.
See, remember,
Also,
I
what do
keep
you think
reminding.
about the Indian guy, Rama? I don't even
Oh,
remember.
I
Vivek,
can't
Vivek
stand.
guy.
I can't stand him. I listen to
Really?
him and I
Okay.
go, "This is so dumb." He talks a lot and he talks very loudly, but 90% of what he says makes no sense. I listened to him a few
Wow.
times, and every time YouTube shows me a video of Vivek Ramaswamy, I say, "Please disconnect me from this channel. I don't want to see this guy's face."
Mm,
He's
mm,
brash, he is opinionated, and he has very little reason for his opinions. I mean, he could be very impressive to people who don't know what he's talking about, but
yeah.
people who have thought about these things and lived with these things, and they go, "This is nuts."
Mm,
I
mm,
think he's shooting for VP. He's actually shooting for vice president. He wants to have enough of a clout in the Republican Party that he can become a VP. Um, Unfortunately, I'm not very fond of Kamala Harris either. I don't like these two
mm,
too much.
mm,
But then again, Kamala Harris is far more qualified than him.
mm. I think Emily just giving
No,
more
these are
information.
refugees, right? Refugees are asylees. That's what I saw.
Mm,
Yeah, adjustment of status. The question is, see, this is what you said, Emily. If you look at this line, if you are quoting directly, I think the adjustment of status is from a refugee to other status. Okay. So EADs, 5 years for certain non-citizens, those admitted as refugees or granted asylum, recipients of withholding of removal, and applicants for asylum. So this is one line: applicants of asylum, adjustment of status, or cancellation. To me, it appears all in one continuum of EADs concerning deportation and immigration court proceedings. But I'll double check it, and as soon as I find out, I'll let you guys know.
mm.
I'd love to
Okay.
see that.
Yeah. After doing MS from US University, Masters from US University, if I apply for H1B after 5 years, will I
Yeah,
get master's quota
yeah.
for H1B?
But this is not like pizza that gets old after a while. That you have a master's, you have a master's.
Today you are on a roll of like these examples.
Yeah, I know. How many? Right?
What are the alternatives if I have done masters in finance STEM degree and I don't get a job in OPT time period? Hmm.
Well, I really don't have any objections against curricular practical training. It has its difficulties. It's very unpopular with the government. It can lead to some issues when you travel, etc. Although I have never heard of any, but something to watch out for. In my view, if you really are enhancing your career, and you're paying for it. Why should anybody care how many degrees you do?
Mm. Mm. Related, I think second degree after my first master's in USA didn't get picked for 2024 lottery. Should I go for hybrid DBA? DBA?
So for me, DBA is database administrator. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. I said,
Or hybrid
second master.
MBA.
I'll give you an example. There's many examples, actually, three, four examples that I can think of off the top of my head. Somebody has a degree in computer science, master's degree, right? And she asked me, um, is it okay for me to do a degree in analytics, data analytics? I said, if that's your field, that's where you want to go, sure. A guy with electrical engineering said, is it okay for me to go for robotics, second master's in robotics? Sure. If that's the field you want to go, there definitely a progression. But then somebody asked me, I have a degree in, I forgot what the degree was, and they wanted to go into project management. That was such a mismatch that it didn't make sense for that degree. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, One of our clients who has a degree in bioengineering, he wanted to go for an MBA, and he's already leading about 80 people. Okay.
Mm.
So, or
Mm.
whatever number, I don't remember the number, but substantial number of people in various countries. So I said, you're already a technocrat. It makes sense to go for an MBA. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. 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 Are we allowed to speed up the interview date for H1B if there is possibility of job loss because the employer doesn't want us to be?
If you tell the consulate, please give me an early date because I'm going to lose my job, they will deny the H1B. It's like you're driving and a cop stops you and you say, "Sir, I was going so fast is because I'm quite drunk. I want to go get home early."
Uh,
I don't think it's a good outcome.
but I think he doesn't mean that he's gonna lose the job. I think he's saying if he
Possibility of
doesn't,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
if he
but
does,
what is the ground for asking for an expedite? The
right?
ground is
Yeah,
I'm going to lose my job.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Ahmed
yeah,
Saab, don't do that. You could be in
yeah.
trouble.
I'm on F1 visa in US and want to travel to Canada on visitor visa by road. Is there any complication? Um,
First of all, why do you want to go to Canada? Okay. So, Dhawal, the way this works is look up something called automatic visa revalidation, AVR. Okay. Just to be on the safe side, I would carry proof that I'm attending classes, just some additional information. But if you go to Canada and you have a visa to enter Canada because you need that, to come back to the United States, you don't need a visa. You can enter on your I-94 as long as your trip is less than 30 days and you don't go to any other country, just stay in Canada.
mm, interesting. If my employer is filing for perm I-140 and they keep my title as construction data analyst in the construction engineering industry, will it be problem if I moved out of industry into IT as data analyst?
Well, Pawan, that's a very difficult question to answer because there are so many different aspects to it. First of all, if you are staying with the same employer and after filing the green card, your job changes substantially, you probably have to start green card all over again. However,
Hmm.
if you are saying, I intend to go from one job to another, you are not being tied down to a job just because you held it. I always give my own example: first degree in biology and chemistry, then law, then law, then law. Okay. So for an H1B, I could qualify for as a biologist, as a chemist, as well as a lawyer. And if I have worked for as a lawyer for 5 years and then I say, you know what, I'm tired. People like Pavan are really bothering me, and they're making life very difficult for me. I want to go back to being a scientist. I can do that. Just because you have worked in one position does not foreclose your opportunities
Hmm.
for others.
Hmm. Follow up. Can amendment?
No, no. So this is what you need to do. Um, October 1st, you are automatically on H1B. Okay. Now there is some wriggle room there. You could join the employer a little later and file the amendment early. Um, But I would recommend the amendment be filed as early as possible because we're already on September 23rd. This is more like a rhetoric because think about it, it's a rhetorical debate. If you start your H1B on Monday, it'll take 7 days to get an LCA, and you can't file without an LCA. So by the time you file the H1B, you are past October anyway.
Mm. Nation wants to know: will there be third round of H1B lottery? Uh,
I don't know, Solomon. I certainly hope so. Um, shit, sure. Yeah, I certainly hope so. I like your turn of phrase. You are very polite.
Okay. I-140 was from previous employer and was active for more than 180 days before moving to current
Oh,
employer where
good.
I got laid off.
Then you're all set. Then whatever I told you earlier is true.
Yeah. I was gonna do 4+1 initially, but now I'm gonna do try to get my bachelor's and get a job because of H1B low chances. Since I would get an option to do masters later if I don't get H1B and get 3 more years again.
Shubh,
I'm not sure what.
that is Shubh Vichar, definitely.
uh, how does switching jobs while awaiting H1B lottery affects the process?
Murtaza, this is a difficult question because it has several components. Some experiential, some written policy. So let's begin. First of all, the cardinal principle is the employer who filed your H1B, assuming that he got it approved, does not revoke the H1B before October 1st. Okay. If that happens, no revocation before October 1st, I believe you can transfer jobs, transfer the H1Bs, even while waiting for October 1st to arrive. Now, do I have anything in writing on this? No. But experientially, in our own experience, this works.
I think he might be asking. Well, it's a little
Yeah.
confusing, but
Yeah.
I
See,
was like,
October
what if
1st,
like can he change if
that's
H1B lottery
that's
like can he
okay.
change jobs on OPT? I thought that's what he was going
Well,
for.
no, no. Let's ask him. Murtaza, why don't you clarify your question? He's
Yeah.
Fatehpur Wala. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Oh, doctorate business administration. That's
Ah,
DBA.
okay. Got it. Thank you.
Now I
Actually,
lost the
DBA also
question. So
means doing business as. So
yeah. Okay, Karan is asking, what if someone is working on OPT and gets engaged to US citizen while visiting India? When they apply for green card after getting married, can they mention in the green card interview that they were engaged in India?
sure, Karan, why not? And congratulations. Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I lost where. Is there a Oh, Ahmed,
Yeah.
is there a possibility of yeah? Okay.
Yeah. There can always be administrative processing, especially when you say, I'm going to lose my job. Or even if you don't say, administrative processing is always a possibility.
Okay.
Uh, Nishant, Rajiv, sir, just call me Rajiv. If DOL is suspended during shutdown, my H1B sponsoring consultancy has not yet filed an LCA for H1B. Uh, well, I don't remember what they did uh, year before last, because under the regulations you really cannot file an H1B without an LCA. However, if there's a gap in your status, that should be forgiven because these are circumstances beyond your control. Okay. I could not file an H1B because I could not get the LCA. I could not get an LCA because you doofuses have brought the country to a grounding halt. So, therefore, I think that is a very good reason to be forgiven change of status, but I'm pretty sure you can't file an H1B without an LCA because it's a part of the regulations. But let's see.
Hmm. If you don't like Rajiv sir, would you prefer Rajiv uncle?
Oh God, no. I don't like relationships. No, no, yeah, no. Rajiv is fine. I'm glad you like. Uh,
This is the guy who was passive
yeah,
income.
all of you who have $200 million in the bank, I love you guys.
Yeah. All right. How is the University of Southern California for masters in computer science? I was planning to go for spring. People sometimes make fun of its cost of attend.
No idea,
Separate
brother.
question. Yeah, we'll talk about it in separate videos. All right. Can my employer file for EB2 directly from my F1 visa? Do I need
Yeah.
to file H1B?
Yeah, Ayush, Google my name, Rajiv with a Jiv, S. Khanna, Economic Times. You'll find an article written by me in the Economic Times about this issue, going directly to green card from F1.
Hmm, okay. Here's three-part question. For my K1 visa application, I have scheduled VAC appointment.
What's a VAC?
I had seen this somewhere.
Is
VAC.
that the visa appointment services or whatever they are in India? Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
let's see. Uh, which I cancelled it. And later I scheduled new appointments with a new DS number. Okay, go ahead.
It's a visa application center. That's what
Okay.
VAC
Okay.
stands
And I probably won't know the answer to this question, but keep going.
for.
Got a call from Mumbai consulate to send the old DS confirmation page. I can see in CEAC website again. I don't know what that means. Um, I don't get involved in that granular detail, and most of these answers are either in the frequently asked questions of the State Department or the Indian consulate's website or the visa handling services that they use. I also forget their. But I don't think it
Mm,
should be a problem, Hiteshji, because you've not done anything illegal.
mm,
So I don't see why it should be a problem. But do look at the frequently asked questions. I'm making a guess.
yeah. Shubh is back. I'm graduating May 2024. Do I need to apply for OPT by February 2024? What if I'm not sure about a job by that time? Can I start a business on my OPT if I don't get a
So
job?
here's what you do. You want the exact blow by blow step process. Um, do one word, study in the states.gov. Study in the states.gov. Actually, the exact URL is dhs.studyinthestates.gov. Space students training opportunities. Okay. You'll come to a page that shows you step by step how OPT is filed, what the deadlines are, and what you should watch out for.
Yep,
Yeah. So
there it
you'll
is.
see they actually have made a little mind map here somewhere. So how do you apply? What you should look for? So this is very good. It's definitely one of the better sites that the government has put forward. Actually, government is getting very good with putting out information.
The
Yeah.
better with the generative AI.
Well, right now they're not using generative AI, and
Yeah.
actually, you can't. I mean, even yesterday I was doing some research, and um, ChatGPT was making up stuff left and right. I like Google
Mm,
Bard better than that, especially the new update that came out day before yesterday. I stopped using Claude AI. Actually I was paying for both Claude and Chat, but I think right now ChatGPT and Bard are my go-to AIs.
mm. Why'd you stop, Claude? Just
Claude is not connected live to the internet, so the information is not verifiable.
okay.
Google Bard actually gives me links that I can click on, and usually there's something at the other end.
Yeah. All right. My H1B got picked in the second lottery. My company had filed for premium processing. On September 7th, the premium processing stopped and I got an RFE. How does the timeline for H1B decision change now?
You know what? I didn't even know that the premium processing has stopped. Oh, you mean because of the RFE? Okay, got it. I was
Yeah.
thinking, this is news to me. I keep track of almost everything that's going on. Okay, okay, Nikhil.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had me very impressed. I was like, Nikhil knows something I don't know. Uh, how does the timeline for H1B decision change now? So what happens, Nikhil, is when you send your paperwork back, the RFE response back, they are back on the clock. So they have to respond within 15 days.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm hoping for third round of lottery, but not sure how switching jobs right now will change
Oh,
things in
okay.
case.
Now I understand what his question is. So, employer X has applied for your lottery. Employer Y says, Murtaza, come to me. I'll give you tons of stuff and also, benefits and all that. And you're like, yeah, that's a good job. But my lottery is stuck with the old guy. If you leave the old guy, you can't take your lottery winning with you. It belongs to that employer. Unless that employer really loves you, the one who did like I love people
Your
with 200
origin.
million, you know. So if that employer really loves you, they can process your H1B, but why would they? They are paying for it. It is illegal for you to pay for it. It has to be a whole lot of love for somebody to spend several $1,000s for you.
Mm, mm.
So
He
if
could
you
be
change employers,
son-in-law
you would, yeah,
of the
well, yeah,
CEO.
yeah, good job.
Uh, All right, correct. It's follow up. If they come back on OPT, if they come back on OPT after getting engaged, should the reason of entry to US be K1 visa or not, and not F1?
You should be able to come back on F1, Karan. Normally, what happens is I have seen spouses of US citizens getting even tourist visas while they're waiting for their green cards. We do it all the time because typically, if there is a good enough reason, government should not jerk you around. Okay. You're coming back to go to school or OPT. I don't think the government should jerk you around. But if you want to be even more secure, no harm in applying for a K1. So as soon as you, because K1 takes what, 10, 11 months to process. So as soon as you get engaged, go ahead and file the K1 also. What's the harm?
Hmm.
Not as a change of status, but as a visa.
Hmm. I keep skipping his question. I wanted to ask if I can bring my parents permanently to stay with me on H1B green card. I saw one video where Rajiv ji mentioned he had a client where parents could stay, I'm
I
assuming
I don't see a
forever.
G behind Rajiv. He just said Rajiv. Don't make things up.
That's just my internal system.
So this is the way, if you look at the Foreign Affairs Manual, which is the standard operating procedures of the State Department, under the B2 visa options, one of the option is listed that sometimes you have very close family relatives, but they don't qualify for a derivative, like they can't qualify for an H4. In those
Hmm,
cases, a B2 is a valid visa. Okay. And you can keep extending that while they are in the United States. In theory, it says that. In practice, it's kind of messed up because, first of all, if they say when they get the B2 that we intend to extend it, would the State Department allow it? I mean, if you are asked the question, you have no choice but to tell them what you intend. But if they don't ask, I don't see any need for us to keep revealing things that are not even asked. Okay. And the law allows us to do that anyway. So once you get here, then you have to keep applying for an extension every 6 months. It should be 1 year. Technically, in these cases, the Foreign Affairs Manual says you should be, at least I remember correctly, it should be 1 year extension. But USCIS says, who are you? This is your departmental procedures, not ours. So we'll give it 6 months. So every 6 months, you have to keep applying. Now, once you get your green card, can you still continue to do it? I have done it, but there is no legal provision for it.
hmm, hmm. Complex.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. Republican candidate wants to remove H2B system
Yeah.
altogether if elected. Is it possible to scrape the system immediately or will it take longer
No, no,
time?
it'll take time. And in any case, Trump will commit suicide if they do that because Trump has so many properties running on H2Bs,
Hmm.
unskilled, whatever they're called. These are seasonal workers.
Hmm. My wife will be moving to USA on F2 visa and will be applying for master's program. Does she need to go back to India to convert to a F1?
She should be able to change status here, Ayush. Ayushman Bhava.
But she would have to get the stem once she goes out of United States.
She
Yep.
travels, then she needs a visa stamp.
Yep. Follow
Digvijay.
up. I got laid off on H1B visa. My H1B was done in change of status. My I-94 TS, my STEM OPT was granted till March 2024.
So, what you will need to do is something which is most frustrating and annoying. Okay. First of all, if you don't get your change of status and your H1B is revoked before October 1st, you can go to your DSO and say, please do a data fix and reactivate my civis. Okay. So what happens is when you file the H1B with a change of status request, electronically the information goes from the USCIS system to the service system, and the DSO is supposed to suspend um, the running of your service, and they give you cap extension automatically. Okay. Now to convert back to OPT, they will not do it until the same kind of electronic signal comes from the USCIS system to them that says that your I-120, your H-1B has been revoked. Okay. So that makes things very complicated because the government can take months upon months to revoke. So I've been
Mm.
having the students open a service request for an early action on the revocation. And on top of that, open a ticket with the ombudsman's office requesting emergency action. Because what is happening is, are you not accruing those 90 plus 60 days period of unemployment while you're waiting for things to work out? You probably are. I don't have a good answer for you, but I know what you should do.
Mm. My wife is under H-1B process. She's on her maternity leave currently and will join office by June 2024. When she should go for visa review?
First of all, there seems to be an assumption in your question that she needs to go for visa stamping. And the answer is no, she does not. If she applied for a change of status and she received it, and then she has a medical reason not to go to work early, she should be okay and she should start working as soon as she's able, or medical disability is removed, or medical challenge, I should say, not even a disability. Being a mother is not a disability unless you have a son like Yudi. But uh,
Yes. That sounds
I
good.
like to be honest. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, I don't see any problem with her. So I had a case in which somebody on H1B could not work for 1 full year. And
Hmm.
when I tried to convert her to H4, government came back with this slap on RFE that she has no pay stubs for the last 1 year. She went from being, I think, 160-pound girl to 74 pounds. She was deathly ill, and we had all the information, and the government gave us the change of status. So the
Hmm.
point is that if there's a medical reason, you are excused from working.
Hmm. Okay. Can I transfer H-1B to other employer without being worked for the employer who has sponsored first and not being to US as well?
Yeah. If you got your visa stamp, the question is very clear. The answer is very clearly yes. But if you did not get your visa stamp, the answer is a little dicey, and I think you can still do it.
Hmm. Okay. This is a follow up on the BSc Physics 2.5 XP in IT question. What do I need to do to make the strongest case? Also, I'm currently pursuing postgraduate plus
Yeah.
masters in computer science. That.
When you finish the master's, it will help you because remember, it is a zero sum proposition, what they call it economics. It either is or it isn't. Sort of like pregnancy. Either you are pregnant or you're not. You're not semi pregnant. So either you have a degree or you don't. So when you have that degree, you'll be fine.
Can I bring my parents to the USA permanently if I have a green card?
I don't think so, Anirudh. There is no provision for it. Once you become a US citizen, you can. I mean, you can try the B2 visa option that we were talking about. I don't think at least it's not documented anywhere.
Hmm. Okay. Um, Currently, I'm on F1 visa OPT and filing change of status to H4. When should I apply so that I can stay if my OPT ends before H4 gets approved?
Oh, you can, as long as your H4 is applied within your F1 status or 60 days following that status, You can stay as long as the H4 is pending. So get it
Hmm.
filed within status or the 60 days grace period.
Nice. So it's yeah. eh, on STEM OPT, we have to be on pay stub, or for training period, we can work without pay stub for 2 3 months.
You can't work without pay. And good morning.
Someone came, Ayush came back. I read the Economics Time article follow up. If Form I-40 is filed on F1 visa, does it provide benefit of extension of F1 status, visa status, like it does for H1B?
No, no, Ayush. It does not. If
Mm,
anything, having an I-140 approved becomes a problem for the F1. If the government wants to make an issue of it, saying you have a green card filed, how can you be on F1? But they don't usually make an issue.
mm. I agree with you, Shub, on this.
What did you say?
But
The roast
the
today are
uh, but his follow up is I don't directly see a timeline on the
it is there.
DHS website.
It is, should look around. It is there. Okay.
Yeah.
It is definitely there. So I'm trying to remember. Okay. Don't come at me if I'm not absolutely right. So I think you have what, 90 days or 60 days after graduation. Yeah, there's a 90-day period. 60 days after graduation and 30 days before graduation that you can file for your employment authorization. And you have to make sure that the permission from the DSO is properly obtained, the I-20 is properly obtained, because that also has a 30-day period of some kind, so that you have to juggle this 90-day period with a 30-day period, uh, and file within those time periods. Okay.
Hmm.
So, and then you have to, on top of that, you have to think, what if I don't get a job in 60 days after that? So remember, first year OPT is quite um, quite kind. You can work 20 hours each week and you can work without pay. So you can volunteer your time.
Nice. All right, we'll do one last question and then call it. Is exercise science or exercise physiology a STEM program? I saw DHS STEM designated degree program PDF. There, I could see exercise physiology listed, but not exercise science. People saying it's depend.
Um, Actually, what you should do is you should talk to your DSO. They would have experience and they probably would have already checked this issue with the USCIS and their contacts in the USCIS. Okay. So a lot depends upon the way the courses are structured. Some finance degrees could be STEM. It's my understanding some could be not STEM.
Mm. Yeah.
So it's the way I'm not in the know on how exactly they designate these degrees or how they evaluate. It's really the DSO's job, and they should be able to tell you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. We are on time. Thank you, Rajiv ji. Thank you, everybody. Well, see you next Saturday if I don't break my leg or don't
Yeah,
lift too much weight.
don't forget your HIT, your high intensity interval training. That
Yes.
really
Yeah.
really helps. See, all this
Yeah.
beauty it comes from HIT.
That makes sense. Yes. Yeah. People will be surprised to guess your age. But
Yeah, it's
all right.
definitely over.
Cool.
It's over 21. If you want to invite me for a drink. Actually, I don't drink, so maybe a cup of coffee or tea would be good. So
You don't even drink coffee, do you?
I do drink coffee. In fact, this is a
Okay.
story I have to tell you. So I usually wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I don't like to make my own coffee. I'll just drive over to 7-Eleven. And I know all the cab drivers who are there. I'll say good morning. And a lot of them are Punjabis and Indians or Pakistanis
Mm.
or
Mm.
Bangladeshis, people, Nepalis. These are so I just say hi because to me they're all countrymen, right? So one day, this particular guy, he's a Pakistani guy, Punjabi guy. He says to me, "Man, this Uber must be really hurting you, your business." And I'm thinking, what does Uber have to do with my practice? So I said, I don't understand. Why would Uber? He says, well, all of us taxi drivers. I said, I am not a cab driver. He thought I was a cab driver.
Yeah, I
You know,
mean,
I said,
obviously, like
yeah,
nobody wakes up at 3 and go and gets coffee.
yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking, not yet. Let Trump come next time. Probably all of us will be driving cabs.
Oh
Uh,
boy. All right. Have a great weekend.
you too.
And we'll talk soon. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Stay well, everyone. Take care, guys.
Yes. Yep. Bye. Bye.